welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess,
I'm Connie.
and this week we are going to be talking about 75 Hard.
Yes. Before we get too deep into it, just a reminder, you can find us at YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok, all with the handle at Chaos Chronicles Podcast. And that's Chaos Chronicles with an S on Chronicles.
Perfect. All right, so 75 Hard. This week we decided to talk about 75 Hard because while we haven't started yet, by the time this episode comes out, we will probably just be starting.
Yeah, I think so, because we're holding out until May, right?
Yeah, beginning of May. We're holding out beginning of May due to my husband wanting to start after his birthday for obvious reasons.
Yeah. For those who don't know about 75 Hard, it is a 75-day program and it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote the rules down here. So 75 Hard includes 2 45-minute workouts, one of which has to be outside.
Per day. 2 workouts per day.
Yes. This is all per day. Follow a diet. No alcohol or cheat meals. Hence the waiting till after his birthday. Reading 10 pages of a nonfiction book. Audiobooks do not count.
Oh, I didn't know audiobooks didn't count.
My bad. Audiobooks do not count.
All right.
Sorry.
Good to know. Good to know.
And then taking a progress picture.
And again, that's every day. And the following a diet, if I understood correctly, any particular diet.
Yeah, you get to pick the diet. You just have to stick with it for 75 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like my boss is doing this too. She's been doing it. And she's done a Mediterranean diet.
Oh.
Which has actually worked really well for her because it's not actually a lot of meat. It's more fish and a lot of vegetables.
Good for her. I'm not a fish person.
You're not.
I'm not. I tried so hard. I found some smoked oysters and people were telling me smoked oysters are so good. And there were some that even had flavors in them. And I was like, okay, this probably masks I took one bite and just like started instant it was not good. It was not
good. That is not a good seafood to start on. Oysters is not.
It was so bad. I can't even describe how bad it was.
You know, I believe it because for a while when I was doing Zeus's meal prep, and I still have cans of this, but I was doing canned oysters with it. And 1, it's a texture, and 2, it's a smell.
I also have a feeling because I make Ruby's food and some food for a couple other people's dogs. And the smell gets to you because I use oysters and sardines.
Ooh, sardines I cannot do. I don't even like Caesar dressing because it's got sardines in it.
Okay, I do like Caesar dressing.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know what it is. I thought
it was anchovies.
Wait. I think you might be right. I think it is anchovies.
I think it's anchovies.
Not sardines, my bad.
Don't quote us. But
pretty sure.
Yeah.
One of the two.
I don't know. It's a fish. Either way.
It's not tuna. That's all I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like tuna would be a hard one to start on too because it's so fishy.
I can do those like tuna Sunkiss packets.
Oh, the flavored ones? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I throw a little bit of mayo in there, mix it up, and eat it.
Good.
That's really good. I'll have that as a snack. But like I can't do a lot of fish. Even in Minnesota, I don't know if it's popular in other states, but we're land of 10,000 lakes. Everyone goes fishing. And I grew up and my dad and grandpa would always be fishing. And so anytime we were up at the lake, we would be eating sunfish, crappies, walleyes. Like, I'm okay with most of them. Walleye is probably like the most tame. I actually really like walleye, but that's like...
I do like walleye. I don't like sunnies. But that's, again, only because, well, I've told you the story about my neighbor at the cabin, and if I swam with it, I can't eat it.
Yeah.
If I pet it in a field, I can't eat it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, me and fish don't mix, unfortunately, because speaking of the diets, so my goal is not to lose weight, it's actually to gain muscle mass and to help me continue on my fitness journey because I got injured a couple years back and this has taken me years to get to barely where I was um, before the injury. And so part of that is to have hit my protein intake goal every single day. So that is what my diet plan is just hitting my protein goal every day.
Yeah, sorry, I
We need to
realized I
pause.
sat further back.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I
Do
was
we
like,
need to
oh,
push it closer to you?
I think I'm good now.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Um,
Yeah, hitting protein goal. I know I haven't figured out an exact diet, but my goal is to hit my protein because my goal for the end of the 75 hard and, going forward, it's not so much focused on the weight loss as it is feeling better just because I was on birth control for a very, very long time, birth control pills. And then I cold turkey stopped, and that was almost a year ago,
mhm.
which, by the way, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. Mine ended up happening because of a miscommunication between my new insurance, my pharmacy, my OBGYN, and myself. So I learned later on you're supposed to wean yourself off. I did
Which I
not.
didn't know that either. So,
Yeah, I didn't until after. And so I've just had a lot of changes where I would like to get myself healthy, get myself back to a good baseline. So it's not so much the number on the scale, but if it went down, I'd be okay with that.
mhm.
If it goes up because of muscle, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, it's not so much as the about the number on the scale. A lot of people focus on the number on the scale, and you should really be focusing on how your body looks and how you're feeling associated with it. Because your body, if you actually take the time to stop and listen to it, it will tell you what it needs.
Mm-hmm.
It will.
It will. The hard part is what I have struggled with over the last year of just having all those adjustments, which I got onto birth control because of painful periods, which we'll talk more about birth control and hormones in a different episode. And we have an episode out already talking about hormone tests that just recently did, and they're not your standard CBC ones that you do at the doc. So I highly suggest you check the episode out.
It's a pretty
It's
interesting video.
it's a very interesting video. Um, but like with me, I'm figuring out for the first time, like what I'm actually feeling, what is actually going on where I don't have, a hormone coming in, an artificial hormone making me think something else or my body do something different. So now I'm trying to figure out these cues of like, is this thirst? Is this hunger? Do I want carbs? Do I want
Yeah.
protein? Like, am I tired? What is this? Where it's been, I honestly feel like a child in some ways trying to like relearn myself.
That's what it is though. Like that's been one of my biggest things with if you go and listen to the hormone episode that we put out when I went to the clinic, I learned that my body isn't producing testosterone at all, really.
She means like none.
Yeah, no, literally 3.
When it's supposed to be between 120 to 150.
Yeah,
She was at 3.
I was at 3. So, with their help, my testosterone is finally at a normal level. It's
Mhm.
finally got the blood work back. Everything is awesome. Everything's great, which is fantastic. But I've had to relearn my emotions. All of a sudden, I'm like, I'm hearing this news. Someone comes and talks to me, and I don't get anxious. I don't feel like nervous, or I'm not, in the middle of my workout, I'm not breaking down crying because my body just can't handle that stress.
Yeah.
And my brain is processing things a lot different. So it is like you're a kid. It really
It
is.
is. It is. I have felt so bizarre so many times over the last year because yeah, June will be a year
Mhm.
where I feel more stressed
Yeah.
because all of a sudden I have, and I don't have hormone tests to back this up, but just based on symptoms, I feel pretty safe in saying that my estrogen and progesterone levels are wacky doodle right now. Like I feel like they are going massively up and down,
Mhm.
and it is making me feel insane
Yeah.
on more than one level, and it's just been awful.
I believe it. And they do test for that too.
Mm,
I didn't mention that in that episode just because I have the NuvaRing. And so obviously mine is not going to be within normal limits because obviously I'm on birth control. So,
Yep. Yep. Yeah, no, it is. Ugh. And that is a hard thing for anyone who's watching this and you have either been on birth control thinking about it or currently are on. I'd be very interested in you sharing your experience. If you're
yeah.
thinking of getting off, what brought you to get it on? Because we got on it for medical reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're on it long term and then you come off, like it has been insane just to like relearn everything. And
Yeah.
it's changing month by month because like I feel like I have a grip on things. And then 28 days later, I'm like, oh,
Not really.
never mind.
Yeah.
Bless my husband. He has been so patient where I will be like in bed just like crying out of nowhere, which is new for me. And he's like, are you good? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. You have to relearn how to listen to your body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this thing that we should have already learned, through our teenage years, early 20s. And because of birth control, like we didn't. And like Connie said, the reason we got on it was not for the big purpose of birth control. It was
Yeah.
to control our symptoms, control our cycles.
Yeah. Yeah. We both suffered from really bad menstrual cycles. Yours was bad.
Yeah, which when we get to eventually doing that birth control episode, we will tell you just how bad it was.
Yeah.
Like I was basically getting to the point where I was almost passing out every single day. So
It was bad.
it was not good.
Yeah. And that's all the more reason, why we had this prior to birth control. And now, you've got the NuvaRing, which is less hormones. I'm off completely.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a lot of changes, obviously, like the hormone testing that Jess has done, the supplements. I planned a wedding, got through a wedding, damn near got killed by my own wedding. Like it's just been a lot. So the 75 hard, it feels like a really good opportunity to just reset, get to a good baseline.
Yeah, get back on track.
Mm-hmm.
Finally. Yeah, it's yeah, my husband brought this up to me and he's like, "We should do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've always been interested in it. I've just never like done it." And one thing about my husband is he does better in group settings.
Same.
So which is why I invited you to it too, and I knew you would be excited about it. And like my husband on Strava, basically, him and his buddy created or his buddy created this group for all of them to run 500 miles this year.
Oh, for those who don't know, Strava is a run tracking app.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they started that, and every couple days, Mitch is like, "Oh, this person like is above me now. I have to go run 5 more miles to get back into 5th place or whatever." So he's got that competitive nature. So he's like, "Well, if you do it, that would be awesome." And then he's getting a couple people from the gym to do it also. And I'm like, "I'm going to invite Connie." And he's like, "Will she do it though?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, she'll do it."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing I've learned through hacking my brain, which is really what it feels like.
Yeah.
I am not motivated to do workouts on my own. Like it is the most boring thing in the world to me. I cannot get myself to go through with it. But in a group setting, which is what I've done, and I've done personal trainings in groups, I get so competitive that I push myself well past my limits, which is not always great.
No, it's not.
No, but I'm like, oh, no. My mom just did, because I worked out with my mom for a while, which was great because we're both so competitive. If you have not seen my mom competitive,
I can see it.
oh, she shows no mercy. Children, adults, it doesn't matter. She will win.
I can see it just like from our, and I know her mom pretty well, but from especially wedding planning, I could see that side of her come out. I'm like, oh, hello.
Oh, yes.
Watch out.
My mother is a force when she turns it on, when she wants to.
Yes.
And I'm the same way. So like when I've been in groups with her, especially, it's an edge. It's like, all right, mom just did 4 push-ups. I'm doing 5. Mom
Yeah.
just did 5 because I did 5. I'm going until I break, which is usually about 6 push-ups. Because usually at the time, it's when we had a personal trainer who was
Mm.
so much fun. She'd be like, all right, I got these TRX bars, but we're not going to use them like that. We're going to do something fun. That's what
That
I
is
like.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
So speaking of workouts, how do you plan to do your 2 45-minute workouts?
that's right. So my goal is to do at least one WALK,
Mhm.
and that would be my OUT workout.
By the way, if you're just tuning in, we are spelling words because we have 2 dogs here that know those words very well and would go a little chaotic. So,
Right, and we're barely getting them to keep quiet right now, so we're not
yeah,
trying to amp them up.
absolutely not. So,
No.
sorry,
No, you're
continue.
good. So that's my plan for one, and then my other one, I am trying to figure out if it's best for me to just cycle through, like, some Pilates workouts on YouTube because I follow a couple of, Pilates
Mhm.
instructors, and they just make, like, 20-minute videos, and I usually do more than one video anyway.
Okay.
So I'm like, I think that might be good, and then I can throw in weights on days that I have more energy.
Yeah.
What is your plan?
So, my plan. So, basically, my chiropractor, who is also a trainer, he programs for me because he's been helping me rehab my shoulder for the 3 years I've been having issues with that. And
He's been awesome.
he's amazing. I love him. And then he's also been helping me with my more recent Achilles issue. So, which we're still working through and it's getting a lot better. So
I was
we're
gonna
doing
say
really good.
you've been good on WALKs.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been working on the running a little bit. So I'm now up to 8 minutes. We don't want to push it too fast.
Yeah.
So it's been like walk a minute, very easy jog a minute, walk a minute, easy jog. And yesterday I ran for 4 minutes on, walk a minute, 4 minutes
That's
on.
pretty good.
So that is pretty good. And it didn't re-aggravate it. Like we went on a WLK and it's doing good. So it
That's
does
really good.
it does feel a little weird as I'm running, and that's the only word I can use because it's not painful. It doesn't
Just
hurt.
odd.
It just feels really strange. And my balance is really, really crappy right now. It's
Oh.
really bad. It's really bad. But so with that being said, currently he programs for me 3 days a week. And the fourth day, well, technically 4 days, day 4 is always either a long swim or a long WALK. Um, it was supposed to be a long run, but obviously I can't do that right now. But so my goal is for those 4 days, that will be one of my workouts. The other days, I might check out CrossFit.com, which I can get you set up.
Oh.
They put in and any of you guys listening, they put out a free workout every day. Well, most days. It's 3 days on and then a rest day, 3 days on, rest day. And
Mhm.
that just
That's a really good
cycles.
schedule.
hmm But so, say it's a rest day and you need a workout, just go back a couple days.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to be different workouts, because that's the thing that drove me nuts. And I have bought workout programs. I have started so many, and the farthest I've ever gone in is about 28 days.
Mhm.
But what I cannot stand is repetitive workouts.
These are not repetitive. The part of CrossFit is it is basically, so the CrossFit games is the easiest way to explain. Actually, the games were created to find the fittest person on earth. And by doing that, they basically took different workouts, threw them into this hopper, and randomly picked one. So the fittest person on earth should be able to do lifting, but also run fast, but you can't be the best at everything. So, like, our friend that got to the semifinals, he was, really, really good at weightlifting,
I can see that.
really, really good, but then wasn't as good. I mean, still amazing. Do not get me wrong. Absolutely incredible. He is a total beast, but like didn't place as well in other events as other people. but the fittest person will be pretty even on all levels. So
Interesting. So you're
you,
not necessarily the best in every category. You're
Mhm.
just the most consistent.
Yeah.
Unless you're consistently last. Maybe not that one,
But yeah, so the thing about CrossFit is that you can count on the workouts being random.
I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was seeing a personal trainer, we did incorporate a lot of CrossFit into it. And it's always workouts that I remember. It's been years. But to my memory, it's ones where you wouldn't necessarily think it's going to be as hard as it is. And then you start doing it and you're like, why is this hard?
Yep.
Like all I'm doing is moving. Like there was one that I remember shocked me. I don't know what it was called, but it was with a dumbbell. You just take a dumbbell and you hold yourself about hips width apart for your feet and you keep yourself completely still, but you move the dumbbell around your body, just handing it from hand to hand. I don't know why. I remember that being so incredibly difficult. Like you get the
Because you're
first 3
using a
rounds.
lot of muscles.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden on round 4, you're like, oh, this burns. You want to like lean with it, but you can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing that I also personally love about CrossFit is in my 45 to hour minute workout.
Hour minute? I
What
knew what
just
you
came
meant.
out of my mouth?
60-minute.
Oh, yes, 45 to 60-minute workout. My gosh. Um, I can get a workout in and work all the muscles that someone, if they were to go to the gym and do the individual, movements, the individual
Machines.
machine. Thank you.
Mhm.
The individual machines, it might take them 3-4 hours to get that amount of work done. Versus I can just do this random thing like yesterday I did devil presses. Do you know what devil presses are?
No, but I'm imagining with the name, it's not great.
You have two dumbbells, which
Mhm.
I used 15 pounds and I still hated myself during.
I mean, I've learned that some of these, if you're doing them right, you can have a 2-pound weight and it's gonna burn.
Yeah, so basically you have them, you go on the ground kind of like a burpee. So you have to put your chest all the way to the ground
Mhm.
and then you push yourself up like a burpee, but on the way up, you kind of swing the dumbbells through your legs and then push them all the way above your head. And that's one.
So you go down, lower to your chest
To
to
the
the
ground.
ground,
Mhm.
and then you push up. But while you push up, you bring
Well,
the
you
dumbbells
you
under.
push yourself up, and when you get on your feet, it's easier to get a swing back so you can swing them up.
Got it. Yeah, I can see how that would take every muscle.
Yeah, those were awful. It took a lot, and that was only
Hmm.
part of the I was doing every minute on the minute workout, but every minute I was doing something different.
I have a love hate with no, not AMRAP. No.
EMOMs.
EMOMs. There we go. I was like, I'm using the wrong acronym. Every minute on the minute. EMOM.
Yeah.
I have a love hate with
AMRAP
those.
is as many rounds as possible.
Yep. Oh, as many rounds, as many reps.
Reps, rounds, same depending on what workout, I
True.
guess.
I feel like I knew it as reps because there was quite a few workouts where I'd show up and Julie, our personal trainer, would be like, all right, guys, we're
It
doing
is as
5-minute
yeah.
AMRAPs. You're like, ah, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's fine if it's a workout that you like. Like I will prefer to do squats over anything else.
Girl,
I'm used to squats though.
I hate squats.
I'll take your squats if you take my push-ups. I hate push-ups.
I am getting better at push-ups.
You are really good at push-ups, yeah.
I used to be before the shoulder injury. And now which I haven't told you yet. I know I surprised you last time too. I was like, hey, I finally got a push-up. I got 5 in a row.
That's pretty freaking good.
Yeah, which I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but going through my whole shoulder thing, that is a huge deal to me.
It is. Because, like, before, and we'll talk about this more in a different episode, but, like, before Jess got injured, she was at the level to try out for SWAT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was
So,
up for a SWAT medic position.
yeah.
Medic, not actual. I don't want to be the actual SWAT guys, but I wanted to be a medic.
That would be so fun if I had the ability to be the SWAT and you be the SWAT medic. Because the theme of a lot of episodes is I want to do the stabbing, not be the stab. So if I can kick down the door and then you can handle the casualty or whatever it is, the injuries, that'd be
You gotta
great.
pew pew them though first.
Well, it depends on the day.
Okay. All right.
Not admissible in a court of law. Hypothetical.
Oh gosh.
But like, that's the thing where I'm like trying to illustrate that Jess was in amazing shape. And then the injury happened. And then slowly getting back over 3.5, almost 4 years.
No, we're at 3. It happened 3 years ago, February.
Well,
I was 24.
February?
It was February.
It was in the spring. I was thinking it was in the fall. I don't know why. No.
No, because it was ice. Be careful on the ice. It is wicked.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who live in cold climates, you know, like even if you're walking somewhere and they didn't hear it, even if you're going somewhere and it doesn't look like it's that icy, just default to that there's probably ice there and go really slow and carefully.
Walk like a penguin.
Walk like a penguin. Waddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, getting back to the workouts. So my plan is to do, you know, my programmed for the 4 days, the other days supplement with .com workout, which everyone just calls it .com workout. So that is what CrossFit.com is .com for future, for what I'm talking about. And then for my second workout, my plan eventually, hopefully, I can get to this. I would love to bring my dog for a 45-minute run. And she used to know that word. She's starting to learn it, but we're good right now.
I don't hear anything, so I think we're okay.
I think we're good. But until I can do that, it's going to be WLK RUN mix. So,
which is good because it'll get her back into being used to running with you.
She's been running with Mitch, so she's
true, but you have different running styles.
That's true. Yeah. Mitch brings her where he can have her off leash and they can run. And
I know she's a good dog for that. I just can never imagine that with Zeus.
I know this dog is scared to death that you're going to leave her. So she will stay with you and make sure that you are well within the area that she can see you. Otherwise, she freaks out. So no, she's not a runaway dog. She's good. No. She has good recall. Usually. Yeah. I'd say 98% of the time.
Yeah, and she's pretty darn good. Only time I haven't seen her come back was during one of the breaks in this episode that we're going to cut out where there was something distracting her.
Yeah.
But we're in the house, so like she knew you were there.
It's more of a guard dog in that situation.
Yeah.
That's there were people back there and she just Yeah,
they have to go full guard dog with each other.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's all good. I mean, we talked about in another episode, there are crazy people in the world. There's murderers. There was killer clowns for a bit. So having guard dogs is okay.
It is okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's my plan for the workouts at least. What is the next thing on the list? Well, we weren't going in order. We already did the diet. So no alcohol or cheat meals. Honestly, I don't think either of us are going to be brokenhearted about the no alcohol.
No.
We don't really drink. So.
No.
And my husband was like, well, after my birthday, I'm not going to want to drink. So we're good.
Wait, this isn't the big 30, is it? No,
it is.
It is the big 30. Oh.
He's turning 30 this year. So, which is why he's like, we have to wait until after my birthday to do 75 hard because, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to celebrate.
Yeah, so it'll be a crazy time.
I love that phrase. Yeah, we're going to hold off because I'm not going to want to drink after.
Yeah. So
I can't believe it's 30. Oh my God.
I know, it's weird. Yeah, because we're 3 years behind him, so.
I know. I always have to remind myself of that because in my brain, I'm like, oh yeah, we're all relatively the same age. And I'm like, nope, your husband's older. My husband's younger because cradle robbing.
But like, not that much younger.
No, just a year. We're in the same grade, but he just was born, a year younger, or
Yeah.
not 11 months younger than
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I never thought I would end up with someone younger than me because for the longest time in school, I'm like, ugh, boys are immature, which I still stand by that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was like, oh, I'd never go younger. And
You went younger.
then Johnny. Yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes it's just, meant to be.
exactly. But I'm excited to see his reaction to 75 hard because, as we've mentioned, both of our husbands very much are workout pros. Well, not with each other, but
Yes.
like
No, yeah,
they
but
probably would work out well together, though. Well, they both kind of do their own thing.
that's why I say no.
Yeah, just kidding. Johnny puts his headphones in and he does his own thing.
Yeah, that's not how Mitch is.
Yeah. No, but like the way my husband works out, he does your typical sets. He's got, an arm and a back day, and then he's got leg day. He's got other days that I'm not remembering right now.
But he has everything all well thought out, well
Yeah.
programmed, very
Yes.
set.
He had a personal trainer for a really, really long time. Even when I first met him, actually, kept working out with him. And so like he's got enough knowledge and enough background experience that he doesn't necessarily need the trainer. I'm sure he'd probably meet up with the dude again just because they were really good friends as well. But no, he's got his own thing. So he does not do CrossFit. That is never something that he has been interested in. So I'm excited to show him like, hey, one, I'm sticking with this because I have group accountability. And two, I would like to see if he'd be interested in any of the workouts that I did, if he'd want to start trying them too.
Oh, we shall see.
We shall see. But even so, that's not to make his workouts sound like they're not intimidating because we have a gym in our basement. And watching him work out, oh my God, the last time I worked out with him was like a couple weeks ago. And I'm watching him bench press this thing that I cannot even lift. As soon as he was done, he looked over at me and he took his headphones out and he's like, what? And I'm like, just so you know, you're on all the heavy lifting duties for the rest of our marriage. If you can do that, why am I doing the heavy lifting? Like, gender role this one, buddy. It's all you now. You're going to use those muscles.
Yes.
Shouldn't have worked out in front of me. Now I know. But yeah, so I'm excited to see. I'm excited overall.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be fun. It's going to be hard.
It's going to be really hard, hence the 75 hard, but I think it's doable.
I think the realistic expectations that we are setting with it, I think that is what makes it more attainable as opposed to, I've known people to do 75 hard and versions of where it is no wiggle, no grace. And like, there's not a lot of grace with this, but we're giving the grace in that we're not doing a specific diet, but we're doing a dietary goal of getting more protein. We're not committing to a certain type of workout every single day.
Yep.
And like for me, because I don't have a trainer scheduling things out, I'm committing to moving my body for that time, which for me, that's an improvement because I am not nearly as in shape as I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't want to burn myself out because I've done that in the past where I go hard for, again, about 21 to 28 days is usually about it. And then I'm so exhausted because I also go through rest days.
Yeah.
So dog cut. But yeah, moving my body just because I'm trying to get myself back into it. And I used to skip rest days because I'll get really into it because that's part of the competitive. And I'll be like, no, I'm not really feeling a rest day today. Like, I'm just going to do a quick Pilates video or something, or I'm going to move my body in some way. And then it builds up. And then all of a sudden I am exhausted to where I don't pick a rest day. My body chooses it for me.
Yeah. Yep. So we're making these realistic goals.
We are.
We're making it attainable.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people do this, and they just make very good goals.
Good, yes.
But you can't start off and be like, all right, I'm going to have this super insane, super strict diet, and I'm going to commit myself to this workout every single day, and this is how intense it's going to be, and blah, blah, blah. That's not realistic.
No, it is for a very specific type of person and a very specific type of situation in which you are able to commit the time, money, and resources to that. And that is a major commitment.
It is.
But for most folks like us, that doesn't work. We've got commitments between 9 and 5.
Yep.
And so trying to fit this in to the rest of our schedule means being really mindful about our time. But yeah, speaking of being mindful and having those commitments during the 9 to 5, one of the things we forgot to mention earlier with the rules on 75 hard is you also have to drink a gallon of water a day.
Yeah, skip that line.
Yeah, that is harder than you think it would be. Unless you're my husband, he carries around, like, I think it's like a 1.25 or maybe it is a 1-gallon water bottle.
This lovely, lovely water bottle gets filled several times a day, and all I have to do is drink 4 of those a day, which I already do. So that one,
You're good.
that's probably why I missed that one, because for me, that's not even a
Not even an issue.
nope.
I can be good. Like, I've got my 40-ounce water bottle down there, and I try to aim for 2 of those a day usually. But that's also why we just talked before this episode. Like, I bought a bunch of flavored water that's 0 calorie, doesn't have a bunch of stuff in it. Well, the hint does it. I think the flavor drops probably do. But that I know is a way to get me to drink more water, because I have found that when I have my afternoon slump after lunch and between the hours of like 2 and 3, where I'm staring at the computer going, oh my God, I don't want to do anything right now. I want a nap. Having something sweet to drink will take the edge off.
Mhm.
And I don't want to be drinking like a coffee or anything super sugary.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my little workaround to like get me in. But a lot of diets are you only drink water.
Yep.
Only water. Maybe water with lemon, but like water.
Yeah.
And that, I don't dislike water, but I don't drink that much.
You and
So
my
that'd be
husband
hard.
both.
Yeah.
That's the one of all the things I'm like, that one or the reading 10 pages every day is going to get you. One of those is going to happen. Me, it's going to be the protein goal.
Protein's hard.
That's going to be my Achilles heel.
I know. My hard one too, it would be the picture every day. I don't know if I want to actually do that part. I think I'd feel more comfortable doing like maybe 1 a week, but that's just because of my own past with some body dysmorphia issues where I'm very cognizant of not slipping into the unhealthy version of this, because I've done that. It's not fun. Skip it. I don't recommend. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do these other things for the goal of not losing 15, 20 pounds, but for getting my baseline, getting restarted. So having a picture once a week would be a good check-in with me, so I can like track where I'm at for bloating and keeping track of my food so I can track how I'm feeling, which is something I already do. So I'm like, that'll be fine. But the daily might be hard, so I might have to goal myself like every Sunday I have to take a picture.
Yeah. One thing, I had brought that up to Mitch about the pictures every single day, and I was like that is a little much for some people. And he basically said the main reason that you want to take it every day is so you can track, okay, this is the foods that I was eating. What does it do to my body?
That is a good point. I'll see. That's the one.
That's the only way. Like, I understand, and I'm not going to push you to do
Oh, no.
that at all.
I
but
don't think you will. You're good. I know. I'll see where I'm at with that one, because I've been pretty good about identifying patterns in food already, just because I have food allergies. Mainly one. It's a pain in the ass. But like that's made it so my default, like your default is drinking all that water a day. My default is I'm always paying attention to how certain foods make me feel, just because I react so poorly to certain foods. So it's very rare that I'm, going outside of too much.
Yeah.
No, I'm adventurous. Like, I'm not picky. I'll eat just about anything. Just about. But no, I don't know. We'll see. That again, but I'm not like committing money down to 75 hard like some people do. So like, if I can give myself that a little bit of grace, but that means I have to hold myself to drink the gallon, get the 2 workouts, do the 10 pages a day, which I'm not actually worried about that one as much.
Me either. Kind of worried about Mitch for that one. This guy doesn't read.
Yeah.
at all. He always says, like, he'll get a book and be like, I'm going to read it. Never usually does, except for his ECMO book. He has an
Really?
ECMO book. Yeah. Yep. And I had him explain a little bit what ECMO was. So I could be like, what is ECMO?
I was about to say, is it the heart? Because that's the only thing I can think of.
It basically, so it'll either take over functions for the heart or the lungs. And basically, it's just oxygenizing your blood.
Oh, so it's a machine.
Oxygenate, oxygenating. Why did I say? What the fuck?
Oxidize. Oxidizing would be bad.
What did I say?
Oxygenating.
Oxygenating your blood. So when the
Hmm.
blood comes back, it can bypass the lungs and get oxygen back in the blood to put it back in the rest of your body. So it'll take over.
Which is amazing that we have all this technology. And also, I harken back to the same thing I've said pretty much my entire life. The human body is fucking weird.
It is, yes. And if any of you are experts in ECMO, do not come for me because I barely understand this thing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
no.
his ECMO book would be nonfiction. So,
It is, but he's basically done with it. I think his plan was to finish it today.
is there an ECMO part 2?
No, but we'll find him something.
Oh, yeah.
We'll find him something. So, another thing with the books is I know it differs depending on where you look. If it's a nonfiction book or a nonfiction self-help book or self-development book, we are just keeping it broad as nonfiction. So
Yeah, I mean,
whatever you
nonfiction
find in that.
works.
Yeah.
I've heard mixes between it's either 10 pages or a chapter a day, which, I mean, it really depends on the book that you're reading.
It does. I've had a book that literally was 2 pages for a chapter. So
I was thinking of that one.
yeah. So depends, but like we said, depending on what source you're looking at, it can differ. We were kind of talking about books before, and you said that you were thinking about
Yeah. So my husband and I, at a couples shower for us, I don't know how many cuts have come in at this point. But my cousin, and don't quote me on this, I want to say he is now a financial advisor, but he gifted my husband and I a copy of Dave Ramsey, The Total Money Makeover. And hopefully that microphone picked that up even with me turned. But I have not read it yet. I've picked it up with every intention to read it, and it just whatever has gotten in my way. Okay, so maybe the 10 pages will be harder unless I carve out time for it. But that's the one that I want to read.
My big thing. So before I got distracted with making everybody baby blankets, because everyone's having babies right now.
I'm kidding.
Before I was doing that, my big thing was so once I'm in bed, but before we turn TV on, I read at least a chapter. And for this particular book, a chapter was like 35 pages. So I'd read the chapter and then we would turn something on and go to bed.
Perfect.
So that was the easiest for me, at least. I know for Mitch, he's been picking the ECMO book up in the morning when he's drinking his coffee. I couldn't comprehend that in the morning when I'm still not awake, but apparently he can. So,
well, he does have his master's in nursing, so this is his thing.
This guy also, to get for the NCLEX, which is the national test for nurses, he listened to a couple podcasts on nursing, and very frustrating, but like good for him that he's that good at retaining information. I am not.
No, it depends on the day and the situation.
Yeah. So
no.
Yeah. So there you go. That's one way for you to get your book you're reading in.
And I don't think you said yours yet. What is the book you plan on reading?
So I wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget. It is called Your Dog is Your Mirror: The Emotional Capacity of Our Dogs and Ourselves by Kevin Behan, Behan. Basically, it is about, you know, your dog's emotions, your emotions, how you feed your dog's reactions. It's kind of a dog reactivity book, but I've had a reactive dog. So, and our dogs, unfortunately, just last week got attacked by one of Connie's neighbor's dogs,
Yep.
which
Yep.
was very unfortunate because Ruby had been doing so good and Zeus had been doing so good with their reactivity around other dogs and other people.
Yep.
And now it's like we hit the reset button.
Yep. That was a week ago exactly.
Yeah.
And my neighbor had, for whatever reason, decided not to put the electric collar on their dog,
But had it in the yard with them.
but had it with them. And we were on a WALK and we were just going past, and this big lab charged out and ran at both pups. And thankfully, no one was injured. But it overall, I do wish my neighbor had handled things.
A lot better.
Yes.
Because the lab came towards Ruby first, and I thought he was picking up the lab, but instead just shoved her towards
Me
Zeus.
and Zeus. Yep. Yep, like literally as it happened. Which, by the way, as a side note for any dog owners out there, if you know you have a reactive dog and you're having a group WALK like we were, one of the first things Jess and I did pretty much on instinct is we split Zeus and Ruby up with dogs being reactive when they're in that frenzied state. They cannot necessarily tell who is who, and mouths get open and bites start happening. So we split them apart, and that's when then of course my neighbor, after getting the dog away from Ruby, instead of taking her back to their yard, he turns her around and sets her towards Zeus, and that went as well as you expect. So
Yep.
since then, these two have been much more reactive, and I've taken him on WALKs without Ruby, and now he is back to square one with reactive.
Yep.
So that's really unfortunate.
I guess kind of fortunately for Ruby, this is not her normal turf.
Yeah.
So when we're back where we live, I brought her out all weekend. She's had zero issues, which I was very impressed by because it was not a nice attack. I don't think there is a nice attack, but
No.
it wasn't great. And she's been great down there. And then today it was just she saw a dog and went berserk, and I was like, it was very, very sad.
Yep. So we're gonna have to redo some training here.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate. So, folks, if you have dogs and if you have fences or electric fences or whatever they may be, if you know your dog is not good with others, use whatever you have. Like, this is not the first time I have dealt with someone not putting the electric collar on their dogs and us getting attacked by dogs.
Yep.
So, I have strong opinions on that, as does Jess.
It's frustrating, especially when, both of us have put so much work into our dogs and our dogs' reactivities. And it takes a ton of work. And if you've never had a reactive dog, good for you. I am very happy for you. But you don't know what it's like. You have no idea what it's like until you've been in that position. And one of my favorite books on that subject is The Midnight Dog Walkers. And that is Midnight Dog Walkers Club. Basically, it's exactly as it sounds. People that should read it are a part of the Midnight Dog Walkers Club. We're walking our dogs at midnight because that's the only time where other dogs aren't around.
Yeah. Ruby's being a goof off screen.
There you go. You can have a ball.
Which is honestly part of what I'm worried about for the 75 hard, because we tried to take pups on a WALK before recording today, and we had to cut it massively short because there was so many dogs. And like we record on a weekday because of our work schedule, and it was middle of the day. So it was like, oh, we should be fine. Like, we should be good. We were not good.
They were
So
everywhere. Everywhere we
everywhere.
turned.
I know. So I'm trying to figure out if when I do my WALK as my outside exercise, I think I might have to really, really force myself to get up early and do it then, because I don't think I can do it when I get back from work,
Because
which is
everyone's going to be out.
everyone's going to be out, which sucks because I would rather do it then, because like that's a nice little, I get to completely unwind, de-stress from work,
Mm-hmm.
which you can technically do that with a workout, but WALK is just clear my mind better because I guess I'm
Yep.
part dog. I don't know. But it's quite frustrating. But there is always going to be obstacles. And the point of 75 Hard is to understand those obstacles and yet still meet the goal despite them.
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We're
Yep.
hopeful.
Yeah. So we are keeping our fingers crossed. And, I'm not expecting this to be perfect at all.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, me getting enough protein in a day is going to be an insane challenge. And I might struggle a little bit in the beginning, but hopefully we'll figure it out. We're toying with some stuff and figuring out ways that both of us can get protein in a day that would be easy.
Because
Because
we don't like eating a ton of meat.
no, and to hit your protein intake, you have to be intentional about every single thing you eat.
Especially if you're trying to maintain it in an X amount of calories,
Yeah.
because ultimately you don't want to consume more than you expend. Like that's kind of the default for you are not going to feel your best unless you are trying to gain weight. In that case, definitely do that. No, I'm not. So like
I am.
it's hard, but like yesterday I just went to check my phone. It's right there. Um I track my food using my Fitness Pal, and I aim for about 98 grams of protein a day. It is really freaking hard for me to hit that. I know I'm supposed to be more like 100 or 120, but I'm just trying to get myself to at least 98.
Mitch put my goal at minimum 130 grams.
Ooh, my word.
Yep. Wish me luck, guys. It's going to be hard.
It is hard because yesterday I did pretty well. Um, I mean, there was one meal I definitely could have had more protein. That was lunch. We just ordered pupusas at work,
Mhm.
which are delicious. But I just did a bean and cheese one because it was
Yeah.
gluten free and available.
Yeah.
Um, but even still, with having my quick little egg and chicken sausage, snack, and I had high protein snacks throughout the day, I had Greek yogurt. I came in at 83.2 grams of protein. And at the end of the night, I was like, I don't want to put another bite of food in me, even though I am under calorie right now. I'm full. I don't
Hmm.
want more.
Yeah. That is the thing with hitting your protein goal. Typically, when you hit your protein goal, you're like, good, I'm done. Like, you don't want to eat anything else. And that's a part of it. You're not going to want to snack. You're not going to want to do anything else because it's a lot.
That's a lot. But I mean, it's good. And one of my coworkers, she just talked to a personal trainer, and she is very, if you're watching, hi, or listening, she doesn't like videos. Um, she needs to eat about 120 grams of protein a day just because she always gets so sore. And she's very similar to like what sounds like me and Mitch, where we go very hard. And so she goes very hard,
Mhm.
except for she doesn't get enough protein. So she is so sore that her body physically makes her stop,
Yeah.
and she just can't keep going. So this trainer is like, nope, you need 120 grams of protein a day. And so this week she's been having hard boiled eggs, cottage cheese. Wow, I just can't talk over here.
It's okay.
All of it. And so I don't remember if she's been hitting it or not, because, I don't see her before the
Mhm.
end of the day. But like she has been very intentional. And that's one of the things she was talking about. She's like, nope, I have to be smart about every single meal.
I'll have to get you the recipe. It's make protein balls. It's
I
got
love like the
oats
oh,
and
mhm.
but it's like an insane amount of protein in one ball.
I'll take it because the recipe that I have, it's more. I mean, it's protein for sure, but like it's definitely heavy on the carbs, a bit more than the protein.
Yeah, no, this one uses like a little bit of peanut butter, but mostly like the peanut butter is just a binder and it's whey powder. And I was using almond butter because it's a little bit better.
I wish I liked almond butter. I like almonds. I like almond desserts. Thanks. Um, sorry, it might
Just the
smell not great in a
almond,
second,
yeah.
but
Almond butter has a different taste to it. It's also a lot drier.
and I think that's what I don't 100% love about it. Where like almond in things, it enhances,
Mm,
but on its own, I've just never been able to 100% love.
that's fair.
But I also know peanut butter. Peanut butter is a controversial thing in the health community. Some people really love it and some people hate it.
Yeah. I think it just sometimes gets overused, and that's why a lot of people don't like it. This also has like chia seeds, hemp
Oh, I
seeds,
love chia seeds.
honey,
Oh, I love honey.
oats. Yeah.
I know. There's also another controversial thing where so many people are like, well, your body recognizes the sugars in honey and fruit the same as it recognizes like regular processed sugar. And I'm like, okay, I don't know enough about it to say like yes or no. But I mean, yeah, sugar is kind of sugar. I still like honey and like I don't feel as icky if I have a banana bread recipe that I don't use sugar in. I use coconut oil
Hmm.
and honey.
Yeah.
How'd I forget that? And that's is the sweetener in it, and it's really good. And like, yes, I add dark chocolate chips because dark chocolate is amazing.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. But like, I feel better when I eat that as opposed to a regular banana bread recipe where it's
With
got,
sugar.
the half a cup of sugar.
Yeah. I, again, I don't know enough about this, but I do know enough to say that there is a difference between that sugar, both of the sugars. There is. But again, end of the day, it is still sugar, and we understand that. But
Yeah.
healthier. We're not trying to be perfect. We're trying to be better.
And that's really the goal. Like we talked about our goals with 75 hard, but my overall goal for this later part of my 20s, don't like that.
Nope.
Um, and I've been I've been doing it, not trying, I've been doing it over the last year just because I've been forced to, again, with the health changes, is I am doing things that are sustainable for me as opposed to the go hard, crash, and burn.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I don't need to be perfect,
Nope.
but if I can start doing little things to make it better, then that works for me. Like before I had the major medication change, I was actually doing really well. Like
You were?
I was down in weight. It was actually at Christmas time of 2022. And we were at the neighbor's house across the street doing the neighborhood Christmas party. And my husband jokingly jumped on me for a picture. And I was able to hold him up. Like,
You were so consistent with your workout routines and
I was
everything, though, too.
consistent.
Yeah.
Like months on end of consistent.
Mhm.
And the only thing that really killed it was I got Invisalign, which tanked my appetite because my mouth hurt so bad, which tanked my energy. And then immediately after that is when the birth control thing happened.
Yep.
But like I felt great. And it started really simple where I just started buying bags of spinach and I don't spinach. I say spinach weird.
It's okay.
I don't know. Someone pointed it out to me years ago and now I hear it.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, good. But I started just putting spinach on pretty much every single one of my dinners, if it made relative sense. And just doing that, bringing up my vitamin A and my iron, made me less snacky. And so then I started adding more vegetables in. I added more fruit, and I made it so that I was actually hungry and eating more than like one meal a day. Well, 1.5 meals a day. And I was doing great. And then those things happened, and all of a sudden my body went, yeah, nope.
Yeah.
Which drives me nuts.
It happens, but we will
We're going to
get
get there.
back on track. Yeah.
Exactly, which is why we've been slowly but surely going back into the, add a vegetable here, do that chicken salad recipe. I make that once a week, at least.
Yeah, I'm going to be making it a lot more. She has a delicious chicken salad recipe, and it's amazing. And that is something where I have a hard time eating in the morning. And I can wake up and be like, all right, we're just eating this chicken salad. And that means a lot coming from
Yep.
me.
It's so good. You want to, maybe we'll film an episode randomly, or not an episode, but like a short or something where we make it just like a quick little recipe post. Because this is chaos. There's no niche. The niche is chaos.
Yeah, that is the niche. Yeah,
exactly.
We're kind of like CrossFit in that way. You never know what the week is going to bring.
We don't either. Sometimes, honestly, we don't. Like, we come with a couple of outlines, and it's like, what should we do today?
Yeah.
Before we completely wrap it up here, is there anything that you want to add, maybe as a message to yourself at the end of 75 days?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. At the end of 75 days, I guess, if we've made it to the end, don't throw it away. Maybe not work out every single day, maybe not go as hard. Give yourself a rest day every once in a while, but just keep up with it, I guess. Yeah.
That would be a good one. I'll add to that. I say the same thing to future Connie, because we're very optimistic now because we're not facing the barrel of the gun, so to speak. But yeah, that also, be proud of yourself that you stuck through 75 days.
Yeah. It's nothing to scoff at.
No, that's hard. They say habits form in 21 days. For most people, not necessarily me. But like 75 days consistently of something is a long time.
It is. To do something every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And it's an intentional, time-consuming, very high-effort thing.
Yeah. And I mean, throughout this process, too, we might even throw some things on Shorts or TikTok or Instagram, just saying, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. So go follow us on, or make sure you're following us on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, and Instagram at Chaos Chronicles Podcast.
I always want to add .com after it.
I know.
I always want to go at Chronicles Product.
What just came out of your mouth?
At chaoschroniclespodcast.com. Like, it's just what I want to say every time.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll get a website. I don't know how to make a website, so
I used to.
Maybe not.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. All right, until next time.
We will see you then.
Yeah.
Adios. Bye.